Good morning from me, everyone. I'm going to try and give you a bit of a potted history about the Clinkard company, with some key highlights in terms of events, and then my views on why we're still here and in business today. So the history of the company first. The business was founded by Charles and Evelyn Clinkard, my grandparents. I never actually met my grandfather, but understand he fought in the First World War and was injured in the Battle of the Somme in 1916. No one really knows the details of his injuries, as it was something he didn't want to discuss. My grandmother I knew well and have a lot of memories of my times with her. One of the most memorable was when at the age of 12 she informed me in a conversation that she thought I was the person from the next generation to run the business in the future. She never got to see me at the helm, but she was right. One of my oldest friends is James Barker of Barker & Stonehouse. One call to him and I had a developer recommended. A meeting was arranged with Dennis McCluskey and the project discussed. Do we need a quantity surveyor? Do we need a contract? And what will it cost? No quantity surveyor, no contract, and I was reliably informed the cost will be what it will be. But to give you a ballpark figure, he said probably about £2.5 million. From our side, Tim Payne approached me and said he would be keen to manage the move. He's very organised and a great planner, and so I thought, why not? He did a superb job, and 12 months from starting on site, we moved into here, Cannon Park. I'll hand over to Tim now, who will talk you through the project and the move. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I must say, first of all, it's nice to converse with people this time of day. I'm very much a morning person, but my wife isn't. She doesn't let me speak to her before 9 AM, so it's a pleasure to have some social interaction this time. So as Charles mentioned, once the deal was complete, the project then moved on to our internal team, and I must say it was quite a daunting prospect that faced us, as we saw from the early photos. The only other thing we had to guide us were these internal plans, which, even if you blow them up and have a look at them, they'll probably no more or less confusing than they are on the board there. So that was it. That's what we were given as a starting point. As we have no internal experience whatsoever of a project of this type, we didn't know our RSJ from our lintel or our running from our munting, which, if you're wondering, something to do with windows. We talked to as many people as we possibly could to get advice. Companies have gone through similar projects recently. Barker & Stonehouse is very useful, as Charles mentioned, not only recommended a project manager, but in letting us look around their building at Seaside Park. If anyone's been into that store, you probably noticed some similarities to this one in terms of the finishes, the styling, etc. Took the building from this, or the warehouse from this, to that, halfway through the build, and then finally to this. And they took the office from this to this, and then finally to this, and the external part of the building from this to this, and then finally this. I'd probably concede that we had the easier part of the project. Okay, I'm now going to talk to you about the future of retail. Now, when I was asked to put this presentation together, I thought this might be quite difficult to pitch. I was aware that there may be some people in here who are from retail businesses, some people that interact with retail businesses, and others that know nothing or care little about retail. So if it gets a little bit boring or we find it a little dull in parts, just behind this wall there are currently 80,000 pairs of really nice shoes. Go and have a look, try some on, and then come back when I've finished. And now on to service, and this will be probably the most interesting area in terms of development over the next few years. This is where the technology geeks in Silicon Valley will go absolutely mad. You'll see all sorts of gadgets flying your way. First of all, we'll have a look at Amazon Dash. For anyone that hasn't seen this, very, very simple idea. It was released in the UK a couple of months ago, yet to take hold yet, but I'm sure it will do in the future. If you can't be bothered to go to the shop, turn your house into a shop. So get a barcode reader, walk around the house, scan the products, and they get delivered the next day. Just be careful not to scan a baby, not sure what the next day. Don't want two of those at that age, shouldn't we? Next, the Amazon Dash button. Even simpler. If you've run out of product, press a button and it gets delivered the next day. Again, just been released in the UK a couple of weeks ago. Very, very simple. Now I can understand this for a range of household products. Washing powder, yeah, it makes sense to me. Dishwasher tablets, fine. Tissues, yeah. Cat food. If you run out of those, press the button, gets delivered the next day, perfect. This next one I don't get. If you're in desperate need of one of those, surely tomorrow's too late, isn't it? So extreme convenience is at the heart of advancements in delivery methods as well. So how do we get things quicker to the customer than we do currently via normal traditional carrier routes of vans, trucks, bikes, etc.? Let's fly it in. So fantastic, great idea. There's one issue that I can think of, and that is Asbo Boy. Which self-respecting 15-year-old with an air rifle would resist shooting one of those out of the sky? Probably none, I would wager. So advancements in technology are absolutely key to retail going forward, and no more so than with something that's ubiquitous already, and that's the smartphone, which I'm sure everyone here has got a version of. So you'll be happily walking down Linthorpe Road and your phone will start to bleep, then bleep again, bleep a third time, bleep a fourth time as you get inundated with offers like these from various retailers. They'll know you're there rather eerily, they'll see you come in and they'll want you in their shop. And this concept of personalisation is absolutely key for retail going forward. So every brand is going to want to know everything about you so they can put it in their computerised little black book. They want to know your waist measurement, your shoe size, what weather you like, your pet's name, what you have for breakfast, how much time you spend here, and even how many times you need to press that button a month. Before I leave you, one further prediction, and that is that we'll start to see these entering our shopping centres fairly soon. And like many a rubbish 1980s bands, these are big in Japan at the moment. It's a normal vending machine. While you're buying your Diet Coke or your Dr. Pepper, you can also make a donation to a charity. So this one's Japanese Red Cross. Very, very clever concept. So here at Charles Clinkard, we've decided to pioneer this in the UK and bring it to our shopping centres here. And this is the design we're working on at the moment. So there's a coin slot going in there. There's a button for Oxfam, one for National Trust, one for the RSPCA, or very worthy causes, I'm sure you'll agree. And there's a slightly bigger button going in here. So when you see these in the Cleveland Centre early next year, please give generously because this place doesn't clean itself. Thank you very much.
Okay, we do have time for a few questions if you'd like to shout out for Charles and Tim. Yes?
What's been the biggest challenge in maintaining that feeling of a family business that you belong to, whilst being competitive internationally?
I think the key thing is people. You know, for us, if we've got Rachel, my cousin, works for us. She heads up the e-commerce side of the business. And one of the reasons we moved here, she felt we were in 2 buildings at Preston Farm, and she felt very much isolated in the second building. So to improve the communication again and get back everyone into one building, that was a key part of the move. But ultimately, it's being out and about and at the coalface as well. I tend to be in the shops quite regularly, open door policy, anyone can come in and see me. I still do quite a lot of the buying with the team, and you know, just get involved in running the business on a day-to-day basis. I think if you step away from that, you lose touch with your consumer, and that's what we are here to serve the consumer, and ultimately that's the key factor.
Anybody else? Yes.
Hi Charles, I'm Debbie Ainsworth from Middlesbrough Council. Fantastic to see you here in Middlesbrough and hear the story of how you moved here. What are your future expansion plans going forward?
As far as expansion in terms of retail, we've got 2 new stores opening. One in Jersey, which is a concession in a department store, that opens in February. And then we're opening in Burford. We've bought a business off an institute client who's retiring, and that comes online in January. We tend to grow as and when an opportunity arises. We'll appraise it and see if it's something that fits well with what we're doing. The big problem we have now is the high street rent in key locations are really difficult for us to make the numbers work. The margins we work on are branded margins, so we're not like the bigger players, your Marks and Spencers, your Next, who generally work on 4 times markup. We're doubling up and a little bit more on some things, depending on what terms we can negotiate. So it's more secondary locations, market towns, and we'll probably grow to something around 40, 50 stores with the facility we've got here. And then the other key part is the internet. That is still growing rapidly, and there's plenty of opportunity. We think we're good at what we do, but there are people who do it an awful lot better, and we're trying to catch up.
Anything, other questions? One more at the back there, yes.
Do you do much international trade?
We don't sell anything abroad in terms of trading store-wise. We haven't got a store. We have one store in Dublin, which is a franchise, and it's just a it's a concession, it's not a franchise. And it's in Arnott's in Dublin, and we trade well out of there. In terms of trading abroad, we do sell some e-commerce, but it's 5%, something like that. It's not. We do send product abroad, but it's not big. And would we ever go abroad? I'm not sure whether the model will work. Our consumer here we know well, and I don't know Europe particularly well in terms of the actual bricks and mortar stores that would be available to us.